your dolly polly dreams have flown. Don't you dare let her tremble alone. For the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of gold. He'll come, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 6th episode of The Witcher Legacy. I am Simon at Wandering DM. I'll be GMing tonight's game. I have with me an incredible cast of players. Let's just go around and have them introduce themselves and maybe if they would be so inclined as to... I'm on the wrong mic. Of course I am. I was shouting in the wrong one. So anyway, I'm Simon at Wandering DM. I have a cast of incredible players. If they would like to both introduce themselves and recap what happened last time. If they remember anything, and then we'll go into the spiel with the sponsors and do a little bit of upkeep before our game, because thanks to your great generosity last week, we still have 9 Gwent cards to draw. And so we will begin with Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly, the opera geek. I play Sisha of Gwen Creasa, Witcher of the Griffin School. Last week, Sisha and the party arrived in Novigrad, where Sisha found out that a Witcher was in custody of the Royal Guard, or the Temple Guard, rather. So she decided to go find said Witcher, and she found the Witcher, interrogated them, found out they were part of this army of Witchers that are being created, and then proceeded to put them out of their misery in front of the guard captain. After which she ran into Ovos. Also, I think my video is on a delay, and that's really creeping me out. Don't know how to fix that. Yeah, let me, I'll drop my camera and then come back, I guess. Maybe that'll work. Reboot Zoom. All right.
Hello, I'm Kika. I play Van Hemelig, the party's mage, elf mage, who went and teleported to have a meeting with the person who trained her about several magic things that we are presently dealing with. And then suddenly everything got cold and spooky people from the sky showed up.
What a mood.
It's just like real life.
No. Hi, I'm Gabe James Games. You know, Simon, I personally take you saying, see if my players remember, as a slight, because I may or may not have said before we went live, what happened last time?
All you need to remember is I left you in the inn eating a lot of food.
With Voltus. Not Voltus.
Ovos got laid. That's
you
what
did not.
happened.
You were not eating with Foltest.
Oh, that's right. He
You were
slept
eating
with
with
a dwarf.
Zoltan, and
Yeah.
then you found a dwarf. I think the delay is gone.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Can't believe you already forgot about it.
You know what? But it's very in with your character. Huh.
Oh, and then we met, one of the Wild Hunt lieutenants on the bridge and proceeded to one-shot him.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
card.
I like the fact that a dwarf woman gave Ovos more trouble than the Wild Hunt. But anyways, that's enough about that. Please go on, Simon.
If you remember, you both had 45 stamina, but I'm not sure how much stamina Ovus had left, so it's a good thing we one-shot the Wild Hunt.
That's true. A strenuous activity in The Witcher, such as combat or other activities, cost a total of 3 points of stamina right off the bat.
That works.
It's just as exhausting as attacking a third time in a round.
Wow. I'm about it.
So I don't know about the math behind it, but yeah. That said, welcome everyone. I would just like to thank our sponsors for tonight's show, beginning with Artalsorian Games. Thank you so much to RTG for both making the game possible and for sponsoring the show. Our other sponsor is, as usual, Mage & Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements. We've played a campaign of their Dark Matter campaign setting for about a year here on the channel. They make great books. Check them out at store.mageandpress.com. And as well, you should check out Found Familiar, a great coffee company to make delicious coffee, and they ship all over the States and Canada. In fact, if you use code WanderingDM, you get 10% off your coffee purchases. Or mugs, if you're into mugs. And lastly, we have Roll20, the virtual tabletop. Check them out at roll20.net or using the panels down below. Thank you for the resub, Thragon. And yeah, check out as well our partners with the purple torch down below or with the link in chat. Through the Diceomancy program, we are partnered with Level Up Dice. I am messing up all of my commands because I chose long words for my commands like an idiot. But check out Level Up Dice either with the link in chat or the purple torch down below. They make a great set of dice out of metal, stone, and semi-precious stone. Is that all? Oh, yes. We're also, like, as you can see at the bottom of the overlay, we are still raising money for the Balefond project all through the month of June. So if you would like to donate, you can check out the command !donate. The link will appear, and you can donate to the campaign that way. So, let's go back to where we were. We'll begin with Ven in Dol Blathanna as she sees appearing out of the air these horsemen. They look like buff skeletons in black armor. And they're riding west.
West, so they aren't bothering me, and they are going west.
They're not bothering you yet.
Okay. Can I sort of figure out where exactly they might be headed? Like, what is, like, significant in the direction that they're going?
I mean, if you keep going west outside of Dol Blathanna, you would cross Edirn. There's the big city of Vengerberg over there. Then there's the small town of Elander in Temeria. If you keep going that way, you would end up to Novigrad and then the ocean.
Okay. So it doesn't really look like they would be bugging Dol Blathanna at the moment?
Seems like they're leaving Dol Blathanna.
Okay. I don't really think Ven would know that much about this. Right?
Knowledge of the Wild Hunt is very hard to come by.
Okay. She would probably turn to the person who, trained her, basically raised her, and be like, do you know what this guy's skeletons are about?
Your old mentor, Vara, says, "Quick, come inside. Don't stay outside. Don't let them see you."
Okay. She just steps back and closes the door.
As you touch the door to close it, you notice there's already a layer of rime on it.
Once the door is closed, she is going to use Cadfin's grasp on the doorknob to make it very hot, just in case someone tries to come in through the door.
Okay. Does it make objects catch on fire?
I think that has to do with like weapons and stuff, or like when you're striking targets.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily. It wouldn't burn the wood that you're casting it
on. I hope not. It says Cadfin's grasp allows you to superheat a metal item, making it impossible to hold. The spell could also heat weapons to give plus 2d6 damage and 50% chance to ignite a target.
Okay. So yeah, instead of being frozen over, the door handle instead becomes almost reddish in tint. Tint. Yeah, no, I cut myself after the fact. But yes, and give me just 2 seconds very quickly. I keep being on the verge of sneezing, so I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
So anyone know any good jokes?
What do you call an alligator in a vest?
What do you call an alligator in a vest?
An investigator.
I like that.
It's
very
so bad.
cute.
It's the only joke I know.
Why couldn't the toilet paper cross the road?
Why?
Because it got stuck in a crack.
Oh my god.
Two cannibals are sitting on a beach eating what's left of a clown. One cannibal turns to the other one and says, "Hey, does this taste funny to you?"
You know what? Y'all dead.
I'm impressed we got in 3 jokes before Simon got back. Boy.
So, you wait inside the hut. And, while the hunt doesn't make any noise as it rides in the sky, you do hear the thump of something landing outside the hut.
Well, it sounds like there's someone outside. Then says as she takes out her makeup kit and like reapplies her makeup. Is there any sort of protocol in these situations? I'm not familiar with these apparitions.
Don't make a noise.
Okay.
And you hear the heavy footsteps of a heavy plated person. You hear the sounds of spurs and the creaking of steel plates making its way closer to the door. Vara turns to you and whispers, "I don't know who they are, But I have a feeling this is not good. You hear the sound of someone grasping the handle, and the of the heat of the handle burning through what is probably a leather glove. There's a growl coming from beyond the door, and then the door rattles. Can you make a stealth check for me, please?
Yeah, sure. That is a 13.
Let me just grab notes. The door stops rattling for a second. And you can see Vara holding in her breath.
Ven is going to step back away from the door as silently as she can, just in case who's ever on the other side decides to kick it open.
In fact, they do not so much as kick it open as plunge an axe through it.
Oh, dang. Is the axe have a wooden handle?
What you see from your side is just the blade of the axe that barely pierced through the door.
Okay.
It'll probably take them at least another try or two before they go through the door.
Well, it looks like they're coming in. Then whispers before trying to scoot to sort of peek out a window.
Is it just me, or do I have no music whatsoever? Oh, no, there it is. You peek out the window. We'll say that there's a window, on the same front side of the house, a few feet away from the door. And you notice this armored individual, somewhat tall for a, if they're human. They're very on the tall end for a human. And they are wearing a full helm that's highlighted with either steel shaped into bones or actual bones to create a sort of sideways maw on their face. The rest of their armor is similarly highlighted in these bone patterns. Their spolders are shaped in the shape of skulls. And they take the axe out of the door. And before they swing again, ooh, you might be lucky. Oh, fuck me. They do not see you through the window. They just take the axe out and slam it again against the door.
Well, since they don't see me, I'm gonna cast Suffocate on them.
How does that work? Suffocates a target For 1d10 damage per turn, the suffocation ends if the caster is struck with a weapon or stops focusing on the spell. Target is treated as staggered. But they can use resist magic. Alright. So can you roll spell casting to see if you succeed in casting it?
Yes, I can. And if is resist magic like versus my spell
Versus your spell casting, yeah.
Well, I am willing to bump that up to at least a 23, honestly.
A 23? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you bumped it up because they actually have
Damn.
a 27.
Oh, well.
You cast your spell and you see the figure suddenly like holds up a hand to the collar of their armor, shakes their head, and looks around. And then with a renewed energy, they just break down the door in one fell blow. Vara yelps out as she raises a hand to cast a spell. What do you do?
I'm going to sort of slide back further and ready my bow. Cadfan's grasp on my arrow. And I'm gonna wait to see what happens.
All right. She finishes casting her spell and says, "Get back out!" You notice that she, like, her voice is cracking, trembling. She doesn't seem to have the... Not that she doesn't believe that she can do it, but she is way too scared to put any, like, intimidation behind it, to have any sort of words are escaping me. Anyway, she's too scared to sound threatening. She is still going to cast with a 35. Which, by the way, I didn't roll the same roll because in Mental Command, if it's a command that they would never do, they get a bonus. And in this case, they would not go back. But they actually do. The person in the armor turns to you and to Vara and leaves the hut as if they had found it empty. Vara collapses after casting that spell. She's breathing, she's conscious, but her legs could not hold her up any longer.
Oh gosh, I will go right to her and, like, steady her. Are you okay? What was that?
I don't know what they are, but did you feel the magic out of them?
Did I?
You would need to make a magic training check.
Yeah. 21.
Not only are they magical themselves, you can sense that the magic that they have is not from this world. It's... If we wanted to put them in game terms, It's like if all of the magic that you could cast, even the master level spells, was nothing but child's play to them. Your best mages are like their apprentices. And the armor seems to be enchanted and warded against a whole bunch of stuff. Which exactly you're not quite sure, given the fact that these are probably spells that do not exist in this world.
Oh gosh. I certainly would like to study one.
I don't think now's the time to study. I suggest we make ourselves scarce.
Do you have any place safe to go?
I have another sanctuary, though I'm loath to go back there. I don't have the best relationship with the people that live there. But it'll do in a pinch.
And should I need to find you again?
I just need to check if there's like a... There's no sending spells. She says, Take this. And she rummages through like the drawers that she has under her table and gets a triangular crystal. You would recognize it as something that she used before in like a contraption to basically communicate with other people elsewhere. And she says this is a telecommunication crystal. It's attuned to me, if you will. You can use it to contact me, and I can let you know where I am.
Just anytime?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And she looks like absolutely giddy to be receiving this.
Do you know the telecommunication ritual?
No.
You would either need to learn it or find someone who has a telecommunicator and just like borrow it from them.
Okay, got it.
Or learn the spell with XP.
Well, maybe if you give us IP from our last session.
Yes, I forgot. Y'all get 9 IPs for last session. I'm bad at XP.
Well, I guess I should be going now?
As you say that, you hear outside the sound of this armored person climbing up on a horse. You can hear the what's the noise that the horse makes? A whinny?
Nay.
Yeah, or neigh. I don't remember.
Horse noise.
It goes like and then nothing. No sounds of hooves, no sounds of, you know, a saddle creaking or any of the sort. It just falls silent once more.
That seems to be a horse worth having. Well, I will go see if the human is still alive. I think the Witchers are fine.
So you
Bye
would.
bye.
Oh, goodbye.
And then she just teleports.
All right. Speaking of the two wishers, yay. Wow, I don't know what's going on with me tonight, everyone. Speaking of the two witchers, the two of you are standing on the bridge in front of this armored individual. Dead. Unmoving.
What can we take off of him?
You, if you wanted, can strip that person naked. It's just going to take a while. We're talking about removing a full plate in the middle of the street. Chances are it'll look suspicious, especially since you're very near the barracks.
Yes,
Sure, so it's
isn't
par for
it?
the course.
Isn't it a shame that Sish is already known to the guard captain, and she's already got a mission from him? This could be totally related.
I want these things.
And I mean, there were no signs of sounds of fighting.
No.
Not as far as anyone's concerned. You begin to remove the armor. Out of curiosity, does Sisha wear gloves?
I think it depends if she is fighting a monster that we know is acidic or anything of that nature, or anything that would hurt her skin, like severe cold in this case, she would put gloves on.
Okay.
She does carry them. She wouldn't have them on walking through the street. But, and maybe not to kill like a basic monster, but anything with additional skin harming things, definitely.
Okay. So yeah, the moment you start touching the armor and realize it is cold as ice.
Is it willing to sacrifice?
The bridge collapses, sending both you and Ovos. I'm sorry, Ovos, but you only have Kelly to blame.
No, we have the DM who's mad we one-shot it.
That, or mad that you're quoting a song, the title of which I don't even remember.
If it makes you happy, those are the only two lines that I know
Okay.
from the song. So there you go.
I don't even remember the rest of it either.
I don't know anything else other than that.
Thanks, Kelly.
Hope you drown.
It takes a good, 15 minutes removing the armor. Of course, the person being completely limp also helps because you
Wait,
can
did the
just
bridge
slide.
actually collapse, or were you just
No,
being
I'm
sarcastic?
just.
I was gonna say, because that would be a pretty badly made bridge.
It is
And
also
it's
a
also-
very wide bridge made
It's
out of
also
stone.
over, part of the slum area of the town, so that would be a problem. Okay.
Yeah, no, it takes a while to remove it, and you put the pieces on the side as you unfasten their armor and everything, and all the belts and whatnot, the straps. You'll notice once you've removed the helm that this person looks just like an elf, with a few not gonna say changes, but with a few exceptions. For one, their skin is very, very pale, almost blue-like in tone. They have completely dark black hair, which a lot of elves do. Their eyes are sunken. Not necessarily completely gone, but they're set very deep in their
They're
orbit.
gaunt. They're very gaunt.
Yeah. And their face and even arms and legs, once you begin to remove the armor and notice like the hands and the forearms, they have visible thin black veins.
Are you sure you want this armor, Ovos? All right, but I get to keep the weapons. Yeah, so I mean, we would continue to strip him down, and I assume after we're done stripping down, the two of us could manage to toss him over the edge of the bridge.
I was fixing my mic. Yes, I want the armor. It's shiny, and I want to sell it and/or make it into weapons. I like the idea of throwing daggers at them made of their own body.
I think you should wear the helmet.
I put on the helmet.
It's like the one that looks like the half skull, right?
Yeah.
It's like the upper part of the skull.
Yeah, upper part of the skull.
Mm-hmm.
Without the jaw, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It
You
is
gonna help me toss this body over? Or?
cold.
This is good for warm weather.
Yes.
Stat-wise, it is a heavy armor.
Interesting. Okay.
It has an encumbrance value of 2, which means that I think the helm doesn't. I just want to make sure, but the rest of the armor does. It would reduce your dex and reflex by 2 while you're wearing it. Okay, it needs to be the entire set needs to be worn. If you wear just the helmet, it functions as a regular, like great helm, if you will. It doesn't have any encumbrance value.
Okay.
But if you wear the full armor, there's added protection. Except that, yeah, the thing is, it's going to slow you down.
Okay. I'll just hold on to it and not wear it yet.
Okay.
I would take the weapons. I would assume an axe, most likely.
No, it was a flail.
Oh, it was
remember?
the flail. That's right. It's a flail. And if he had anything in his pockets, not pockets, pouches, whatever, I would just take it all.
The person that you killed, in fact, doesn't have any like purse or pouch with them. Their armor is very just functional and nothing more.
Okay. Well, if they're here, we probably have to go check the inn, don't we?
Most likely. It would be smarter to do it.
She holds up the flail. Do you think the dwarf would like this?
What dwarf? Which one?
Zoltan.
Oh, yes. Probably.
What do you mean? Oh, that. I took no more talking.
I
Body over edge. Throw body. That's no more talking.
I don't know if people give gifts after that.
We're having this conversation while throwing a body over the bridge. I wouldn't know if you give gifts after that. What? Did you pay her? Isn't that a gift?
But I feel like that's a business transaction.
Well, then why does she need a gift?
It's I don't know, currying favor with a business partner?
I mean, are you hoping she treats you better next time? Did she treat you badly this time? Don't answer that.
Oh God, there could be a next time.
I don't want to have this conversation anymore. Sisha's eye is twitching slightly.
You fling the body over the bridge.
This is the best body dump ever.
It never reaches the ground.
Disappears.
It burns in a blue flame as it falls down. And by the time it would hit the ground, it's nothing more than ashes.
No, that's helpful. So, in? In. Keep your eyes out for rats. See if you know where they're going.
Do you mean literal rats? Or...
Literal.
Oh, okay.
If you keep your eye out, you can make an awareness check.
All right.
I will both.
Hell
both
yeah.
Make an awareness check.
Boom. 12.
You're still thinking about the door.
Yeah, I am.
Why did mine not roll?
14.
Okay, there we go. Everything is delayed, and my interwebs must be being stupid.
With a 12 Ovos, you don't see anything. Don't find any rats. You do spy one, though, Sisha, as you get closer to the inn. It's heading towards the northern part of town. It crossed the street. Not even keeping to, like, the gutter or shadows of buildings or what have you, just brazenly crossed the street.
Are you talking north towards Temple Isle, or north just towards, like, the one noble girl's house north?
The noble girl's house. The Nilfgaardian embassy.
Okay, that's where I thought we were walking, but I guess not. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going back to the inn.
We are, but in order to go back from the inn, and please nobody laugh at my ridiculous knowledge of Novigrad, you have to cross the temple thing, you make a left, go by the noble girl's house, down past the barber shop, and then you go behind.
Yeah, in this game, Novigrad is actually bigger than in
Okay. All right.
Because
it
it would make sense to not have that many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's heading back towards the cliffs, like where the caves are and the cliffs underneath the house. Okay. Got it. And the Nilfgaardian embassy.
You're a nerd.
Yeah.
So,
Place of power in that cave. I should draw from it. Okay.
you suddenly pass right through the world.
Because
Because that
And
shit
die.
happens in Novigrad.
it absolutely does happen in Novigrad.
No, you make your way back to the inn. And that'll be the same moment that Ven appears as well. To see Shayna, Zoltan, and some of the mercenaries beaten and bloody, bringing a few blanketed bodies out of the inn. The blankets are stained red.
Chivet, is it still here?
It's gone.
Dead?
Oh, no, I mean. It laughed and left. Said it was going to come back. I knew it. Witchers are nothing but trouble. No
We did
matter
not-
where you go and how good your intentions are.
If
So,
you keep talking, I'm not going to give you a present.
I am going to say, you say witches are nothing but trouble. The reason trouble arises when witches are there is because whatever abomination is lying in secret knows it is now in danger.
What he said.
I was just going to point out that they had appeared in other areas at the same time, so I hardly think it's on the witches in this instance.
Doblathana?
I did not tell you I was going to do
Oh, that's right.
that.
Why, where were you this time?
Oh, roughly east-ish.
There too?
Yes. A whole bunch of them were just flying through the sky.
This can't be anything good. Ovos,
Something I
you've been
do-
witchering. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One thing I do know, though, is they are aggressively magical
Yes.
and not from around here in the broad sense.
The Wild Hunt? No, they're not from around here.
Oh, you know of them?
Most witches know of them. They're a problem. Ovos, have you ever dealt with them? You've been on the path longer than I have.
I avoid them because I like confrontation. I know I can win.
Hmm.
And I've never been paid to hunt the wild hunt.
That would be a strange contract. Shive,
Why'd you keep calling me by my last name?
it's easier. Here, and she just throws the flail at him.
He doesn't try to catch it, because it would be foolish to try to catch a flail in midair.
Hmm.
But he catches it after it's fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting piece.
Yes.
Doesn't make for a good weapon. But
Good bragging rights, though.
I don't think I'm gonna tell anyone that I felled a member of whatever that was.
You don't
I-
have to tell them, just display it. Hasn't Dandelion taught you anything?
You could say 2 witchers did.
Alternatively, if you don't want it, I'll take it. I would love to study it.
He looks at it for a moment. And he says, "Nah, they've damaged enough my inn. At best, it'll cover up the damages. You can welcome to look at it while you're staying here, but
Wouldn't a rug do better?
I meant I was going to sell it." Mind, if you want to buy it from me,
Well, that would depend on how much you're selling it for.
let me just scroll to the weapons to check what the average prices.
Of course, of course.
Um,
$1 million.
What's a dollar?
he says, "Well, judging by the damages that were inside, I would need at least 700 crowns to pay back everything that happened."
Oh, too bad. I'm about 200 crowns short. Oh well. I have a lovely book on tyromancy.
A what?
Tyromancy. Tyromancy? I don't know how it's pronounced. I've only read it. And she takes out the tyromancy tome.
Is that some magic thing?
Yes, it's cheese magic.
He looks at the tome, looks at the flail, and you can see in his face, like, he's trying to judge, like, the bragging, which one of the two would get him more bragging rights. And he's like, "Nah, sorry, lady, I'm gonna keep with the flail."
Very well.
And looking at Ovos and Sisha, because I figure you were carrying the plate armor with you.
Yeah.
That for me?
No. Unless you would like to buy it.
Ha! Care to wager it in the Gwent game?
What would you offer?
This flail?
No.
Worth a shot.
I'm going to go find a blacksmith and have them pay me.
At this time of night?
Yes?
They're closed, son. Now the feast is waiting. You
He's
all
gonna
paid
need
for
to-
it.
He's gonna need to get his energy back anyway.
I'm just going to carry this with me wherever we go, like a weird cat that has a big old mouse that's way too big for it.
Why does he need his energy back? Was it a rough battle?
Terrible fight.
Ah,
I had
Perfect.
sex.
Oh God.
Oh, how was it?
Don't want to talk about it.
No, Olvos, how was it? This is a very exciting
It is
event
not.
in your
It
life.
is not an exciting event in
She
anyone's
places
life.
a hand on Ovos' shoulder and says,
It was like eating
I'm,
a grapefruit.
Oh
I'm
no.
Not,
very
not
proud
my,
of you.
not my favorite, but I understand why people
Fruit.
enjoy it.
No.
Did you say it tasted like grapefruit?
It was like eating a grapefruit, but
Okay.
Very juicy.
Please don't ever bring up grapefruit in this again.
And the three of you make your way inside. For the most part of the night, Shayna will stick to her men, toasting to their near miss with death. And she's awfully quiet. The three of you sit down at a table while Zoltan's employees bring out plate after plate of meat, bowls of soup, or baskets of like vegetables, fruits, what have you. There's ample food and ample booze for everyone. And in this tiny bit of downtime, I would like the three of you to roll a d26 so that we can draw some of these
Oh.
cards at long last.
no.
So what's going to affect our game tonight? A 4, a 24,
An 8.
and an 8.
Huh, they're all multiples of 4. Great.
The 24 is an Ithlin, because I think I drew that before. Isn't it?
We'll see.
The Wild Hunt again.
Wild Hunt isn't a card. Wild Hunt is the courtesy of our viewers.
Mm,
So remember, viewers, if you want us to deal with the Wild Hunt exclusively, keep on donating.
Who drew the 4?
me.
That's Chaos Power.
Good.
Everyone can now spend an extra 2 points of stamina on signs and spells for the rest of tonight.
Nice.
Okay.
Who drew the 8?
That was me.
Betrayal.
Awkward.
Tonight, I should say, the next player to take damage takes an extra 10 points of damage.
Thanks, Ovos.
And 24 is not a Niflin.
Oh, okay.
24 is a trap. The next time one of you triggers a trap, the trap deals an extra 10 points of damage.
So if we triggered a trap, it would technically deal 20 points of damage. because
If it's the
10
first time you take damage tonight, yeah.
That sucks.
So let's change the title of tonight's episode to The
It's a trap.
Dungeon of Many Bear Traps.
Oh, you monster.
Thank you everyone for giving. We are not through all the cards, but I feel like if we were to draw all 9 cards in one shot, it would get way too chaotic. So, the feast happens. Does anyone want to do something, have a conversation with someone during the feast, or do you want to just fast forward to the next morning as you wake up with probably still a full stomach and a mild hangover?
I feel like Sisha would spend most of the feast trying to get Ovos to stop talking about the fact that he had sex, because he keeps talking about it. And she
Then
just shuts
we'll
him
keep
down.
trying to get Ovos to talk more.
And he'd probably get to a middle ground where it's more like he's asking questions that don't make sense. But why did she spank me?
Because some people enjoy that.
But it was a very, very large paddle. And it broke. So she had to go get another one.
Sisha would reach over and just slap her hand over Ovos's mouth.
She also do. That's finally.
If you continue, I will murder you in your sleep and say that I hired myself to do it.
This is not flirting, right?
No.
Okay, I had to check.
You want to learn about flirting? I can teach you.
And there's like a and he like goes to take a drink and every now and then like looks up and
Keep in mind, when it comes to flirting, you do not have to follow through with anything.
Don't teach him that. Let's flash forward. Don't teach Ovos that. He's already kind of dumb.
See, some people flirt just for the fun of flirting itself. It's like a verbal game.
There are better games to play. Would you like to play Gwent, Ovos? I will beat you.
I'm not betting my armor.
I'm just playing to get you to shut up.
See, Gwent is used in flirting in many regions.
I really am just going to leave the table now. And she leaves the table.
You two
and
are
goes
very
upstairs.
And then Ovos is probably gonna eat, but it's mainly gonna be gamey meat and still lots of wine.
Okay, the moment that Sisha leaves, Ven starts asking different questions, like, Ovos, how old are you exactly, if you don't mind my asking?
Old.
Ah,
Hundreds of years old.
so I had some questions. There has been some theories that witches' lost emotions eventually might come back with time. Have you possibly experienced that?
And it's like a really awkwardly long pause. No.
Well, that's a bit disappointing. See, I was speaking to my, my mentor, and I had a thought that perhaps it might be possible to restore a witch's lost emotions.
It's
Though
probably a mistake.
Why is that?
Because considering what we do, the most predominant emotion would be rage. And rage will lead to the mass murder of plenty of people.
Well, perhaps I can give back just some of them, and not the rage.
Something that is interesting about those of you with emotions is one of the reasons I feel like you can function is because you can regulate a balance of good and bad. If there is only good, it will not be real. If there is only bad, it will only lead to pain. So I've lost mine, unless I can think clearly. You want to do something I assume is good, but because of your desire to do good, there is the possibility for bad.
That is a very compelling argument. I will keep that in mind. See, I'm sorry. I had assumed that a witcher might desire to have their emotions restored. I had not considered that that might not be the case, and I apologize for that.
Well, without emotions, desire to have our emotions, it is missing something you do not know. It doesn't really happen.
That's very fascinating.
I like not being happy. Happy is gross. They make stupid faces and drool, and I do like making sad. I enjoy that. I think.
What?
My face does a it's close to what you enjoy, I guess.
How, if you do not feel emotions, how do you enjoy sadness?
It's a understanding of chemical changes.
Oh.
When
So,
you touch something, it feels warm or cold, and some sensations are more preferable.
So would you say it's the familiarity that is comforting?
That is a good way to say it.
Hmm. That's interesting.
I've lived a long time. I'm as close to happy as I probably could be. I am, to some, a tool, and tools do not need emotions, and I am okay with that. But if they called me a tool, then I would kill them because that is my choice, not theirs. But
Well, I guess we shouldn't try to fix what isn't broken.
I also would not mention that to Sisha. Even though she does not have emotions, she is the closest thing I have seen to rage in a Witcher constantly.
Yes, that is why I waited until she left.
But if you do mention it, I want to have wine. I like wine.
We can have wine right now.
No, but it's like having wine with a show.
Oh, I
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Yeah, and right about then is when Sisha comes back with more wine and a giant plate of food, and she's like, "Are you done talking about flirting yet?"
Well,
Does
that,
it make you
that
uncomfortable?
depends entirely on Ovos, Ven says before putting an arm around his shoulders.
And he thinks again for like a long time. Yes.
Yes, we are done.
Yes. We are done.
She sits back down. So, rats going north.
Oh, rats?
Strange.
What about the rats? Do we have another Witcher mystery on our hands?
We have false witchers. I need to kill their leader.
More of those. It would do to do away with them.
It would be fun, I think.
And we have clearance from the guards. They will
Oh,
not
good.
bother us.
How much are they paying?
Enough. To be fair, I don't remember how much they're paying Simon. He told me. I don't remember. It was like 700 or something because I asked for 200 up front.
Yeah, there's still 300 crowns left to pay.
Okay. Because he gave me 200. I took 100. I gave Ovos 100. And you weren't there, so I didn't give you 100.
That
But
makes
there's
sense.
300 left, and then we can split it out. But it's best to kill them because they're dangerous to the people in this city. And he's killing children.
Oh. I suppose that won't do.
And not pleasantly. Or quickly.
So I take it to mean that they're experimenting on children and those experiments are killing them.
You see Ovos and I. Yes?
Yes.
Maybe 1 out of 10 people survives and becomes what Ovos and I are. And that is with people who knew what they were doing. The person I helped tonight looked to be about 60. He was 15.
Well, that is the opposite of ideal.
Witches start when we're very young. He started 6 months ago. I'm assuming, Ovos, if I were to think about it, that they're trying to accelerate it.
The acceleration of something like that will literally cause a body to break down.
Yes. And quickly. And the mind. That's the trick.
Ben, I know that you are looking for knowledge of these things. If I can be so brash, you may do better in trying to figure out how to reverse this accelerated transformation. Once you delve into how to make something, it becomes almost impossible to stop. But if you know how to stop something, you can be the one the world never forgets.
You are, in effect, suggesting that I learn to bring a stop to witches.
No. We're
To bring-
suggesting you bring a stop to the. Go ahead, sorry.
You bring a stop to the Witcher attempts. Because these people that they are changing, either you save them, or help save them, or we kill them.
Well, that was my intention to start with. I just thought that given, at least to my knowledge, that witches weren't being created the normal way anymore, that you'd just be asking me to make sure none ever get made of her again.
Oh. No, it's consider it a thing of respect. You do it in a way that the people would want. But if you do not have the information, you are merely just putting more in danger. And when you put more in danger, you make my job harder. I don't like a hard job.
I feel like you're also trying to suggest that I do something that I was already intended on doing.
Possibly, I just can't read your mind and you're very sneaky.
How am I sneaky? I have been entirely honest with you.
You turn into a bird and fly away.
I'm a mage.
You don't tell us where you go.
Yes.
I went to see my mentor. I said that.
Where?
Dol Blathana, where I'm from.
Mm.
Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that was easy.
Unfortunately, the image you've projected so far is that you'd be interested in learning the process to actually make us. We don't want you to learn that. We just want this to stop. No one should learn that.
I can be entirely honest when I tell you that creating witches is not on my list of priorities.
And Sisha will just continue eating.
I think that is
Oh.
the closest you will get to a satisfied response. You know, she didn't stab you. That means she might almost like you.
I wouldn't push your luck.
Let me have this. Let me have this.
Any day that I am not stabbed is a blessing.
And then he's like,
Well, I didn't stab her. There, it's a blessing.
yes, see? A witcher and elf. And then a witcher elf. What a combination.
You just hear a burp and Zoltan chiming in. You all need a dwarf.
I think he already had. I don't want to talk about it.
He had sex with a dwarf.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm
Oh,
not.
right. Zoltan was the one.
Zoltan's the one that sent him there.
Mm-hmm.
Zoltan,
Aye,
A+ choice.
I know.
I learned very much.
Did she get the fish out?
You know what, dwarf?
You knew about
I have
that?
no problem starting a bar fight.
Don't you dare try to destroy my inn.
Zoltan, that fish was huge.
Stop talking about sex with a dwarf.
I'm talking about a fish right now.
I don't want to hear about the fish slapping.
Can I just say one last thing?
Please.
I've never seen a flounder that size before.
I know. I'm the one who fished it out.
Oh, God. Sisha just slides under, like slowly just starts sliding down the table. What is this obsession? Why are you obsessed with this now, Ovos?
I haven't done anything new in years. This was new. How long
There
was
are
we had that?
other better new things. New monsters, new stuff.
I don't want to have sex with a monster.
I don't it's not what I was oh.
Let him process his new experiences. He'll tire himself out on the subject soon enough.
You know, that's actually probably accurate. That's actually probably very true.
From what? Oh,
You just won't talk about for the next 100 years after he's over it.
from what I've been told, apparently doing it on the back of a unicorn. That is something.
Zoltan, I thought we
It
could
is.
be friends.
I
I
agree.
really, really thought we could be friends.
Aye, we can.
What kind of idiot has sex on the back of a what kind why?
Because it's fun.
I have both
not
wondered
talking
the
about
why
this.
and the how.
I'm not talking about this. You are all obsessive. There is nothing to talk about.
So we should just sit here and all scowl into our drinks. all
No,
evening?
just don't talk about that. Talk about something more actually interesting. Talk
so
about
when I saw the wild hunt, they were heading east.
No,
No, west.
What?
so they were heading this way.
Well, this way and a bit south.
If you were in Dolbathana. This way and a bit south. They're going to Temeria?
Perhaps, or Adrian.
Or here. Or a number of places they can split up.
Perhaps they're going to bother the Nilfgaardian invasion.
The what now?
Oh,
you
didn't
hadn't
we
heard?
tell you?
No.
Nilfgaard has taken it upon themselves to start invading places using portals.
I had a word with one of your other friends, if the ballads are correct. Stopped in to see Triss Marigold.
And then, right when we were leaving, there were explosions.
Vizima was blown up.
Oh, that is not a good sign.
No, it's not.
This is why we've needed lots of drink.
So now we have the Wild Hunt and Emir.
And possibly some other things by the sounds of it.
If I believed in gods, I would wonder which one we made angry.
All of them.
How many do you have?
I don't know, I know of. 2, I think.
Maybe.
Shouldn't someone warn the King Radovid?
Oh, do we have to?
I mean, he is an ass like all the other kings, but think
Can't
about
we-
all the people here.
Can't we just let him? I didn't make a good impression the last time I was in his country. Perhaps you could send a bird.
Is that a joke?
Why would it be a joke? You send messages on birds. Well, not you. You're not a bird right now. I mean, we could tie a message to you and throw you in the air and see if you fly, but
Oh, I do fly, but I would not appreciate that.
I can... And he looks at Shayna out of the corner of his eyes and he says, "It'll do her good to get out of here. Tomorrow we'll We'll take care of it.
Are you sure?
Aye.
When he looks at Shayna, I'd assume we would probably all take a glance at Shayna, which would mean we would all have to see if we notice what Shayna did.
What did Shayna do?
Ripped off her Nilfgaardian emblem.
Yes, that's true.
15.
She's not hiding it. So, like, you don't need an awareness check. It's pretty obvious. Especially since she did not also, like, repair it when she tore it off her uniform. Because she wasn't wearing armor when she went to see the ambassador. So it's just straight off her uniform. There's, like, a hole in it.
That's not great.
Sisha, how far away would Shayna be sitting from them?
Since Shayna is currently brooding, it is only appropriate that she is sitting in a corner surrounded by her closest men.
Okay. So Sisha is going to dig in her bag and pull out a small pouch that has a... I mean, it's not obvious what's inside, but the top of it has like a needle stick through the top of it. So it's kind of obviously a sewing repair thing. And she's just going to amble like she's going to get another drink. And she's going to drop it in front of Shayna and just keep walking.
Okay.
And we can find out later from Kayla how she'd like that
Yeah.
interaction to go.
Well, what's gonna happen is when we start next week, we're just going to, like, take a few moments to do, like, the day that Shayna and Zoltan went to see King Radovid.
Have fun with that. Make sure all the spoons are hidden.
Boy.
Actually, which reminds me, at this time of year, Radovid is actually in Tretogor, so it would be whoever's speaking on behalf of Radovid in Novigrad.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him to go to Tretogor. That's too far. It's too far. Anyway. All right. So Sisha will kind of stop and look back at the table as she's heading up to her rooms and just say, I don't think we'll be able to see many rats in the daytime. But since we have a general idea of direction, we could at least scout out tomorrow.
I
Yeah.
like that idea. It sounds good to me.
Don't make any more nocturnal visits. You need to actually have some strength left. And she'll head upstairs.
I was pretty strong after, to be honest. But fine. I was plenty strong after.
Yes, you're a very strong boy.
Yes.
I recall Strong Boy throwing his back out trying to lift anyway.
Simon, fight me.
If you're done with the feast, we are going to go to break. And then when we come back from break, we're going to do, we're going to start with the next day at dawn and see what's in store for the rest of the party. Stick around, everyone. Go grab a drink, stretch, get yourself a snack. And we will be right back.
Your darling party dreams have flown. Don't you dare let her tremble alone. For the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of gold. He'll come, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe.
And we're back, everyone. Hello, hello. Is it me you're looking for? Next morning, the group wakes up at the crack of dawn. Zoltan is passed out. There's a pair of employees downstairs cleaning up the rosemary and thyme, packing away the food or throwing it out, mopping the floors, placing the tables back to basically open up shop later during the day. They barely acknowledge your presence with a nod. And one of them lets you know that there will not be any breakfasts this morning as, well, the feast took quite some time to prepare. There are some leftovers of the feast if you want some, but otherwise the Rosemary and Thyme apologizes for not being able to provide you with a meal this morning.
We'll manage.
Just give us some leftovers to go.
And wrapped in like wax paper, you have like a handful of potatoes, turnips, maybe like a turkey leg. All cold, of course, but Ren fair food.
Scotch eggs. I love Scotch eggs.
I have no
Thank
idea.
you very much, and have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Who just said they don't know what a Scotch egg is?
Gabe.
Which one of you said that?
That was Gabe.
Gabe's looking at Simon.
No, that was me.
I mean, I also don't, but I didn't think I said it out loud.
Scotch egg is a soft-boiled seasoned egg rolled in sausage and then fried so that the center is soft and runny, and then it's sausage crispy on the outside. It's good stuff.
Oh.
And it's like impossible to make at home unless you really know what you're doing.
I'm gonna have to
Sounds
go
good.
to a Ren fair that offers it. That said, y'all take to the streets of Novigrad. Guess what? The hooligans from
What?
yesterday are still there.
The Whatigans?
Yeah. The Howligans are still not as numerous, but still around the Rosemary and Thyme. Basically just waiting for one of you to give them an excuse to go violent. But while there were about 15 of them yesterday, there's about 6 today.
I will walk up directly to them and say, "Oh, good morning. You look like you've been out here for a while. Would you like something to eat?"
I'm good. I'll be better once all 3 of you leave town.
Oh, don't worry. We don't intend on staying too long. We tend to get moving quite quickly, I assure you.
Unfortunately, I have bought a permanent space here at Zoltan's Inn. I like it here.
I don't speak for her. She does not speak for me. We're barely together. We
I
just
said
happen
I.
to be. I'm talking to them, not you. We just happen to be working together right now to clear up some trouble, and myself, I will at least be out of your hair right away once that's done. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. And as before I go, I will sort of just pat him on the shoulder and give him the eternal itch.
Make your hex.
I mean, to be fair, how do you know he didn't already have it? I mean, he is a peasant in Novigrad.
But make your hex crafting check.
Please don't fuck up. 18.
18, and there's no resist to that. It's just you leave, and you can hear them talk to one another. One says, the one that you pat on the shoulder, just looks at the other 5 of the group, and is like, well, at least some of them are gonna leave. We can probably... Give me a moment. And they start scratching. And like, what this... We can probably just burn the inn down. And they scratch again. And like the other 5 begin making fun of him. So like, where have you been last night? And I thought you said you were out with it. You were at home with your wife and blah blah blah. And they start making fun of him, but he went from looking angry to looking uncomfortable very quickly. And the eternal itch lasts for like days, I think. So, yeah. Oh, right, it lasts forever.
It's not like hard to remove, but still. And as soon as we are out of earshot of them, I will whisper to the others, for the purposes of full disclosure and garnering trust amongst the group, I would like to confess that I did put a hex on that one. Minor one, very small.
Okay.
Please don't tell anyone.
Sisha
Deal.
will look back. I assume it's pretty obvious how he's itching.
Oh yeah, at this point, he's like both handing it.
I'd say it was very small indeed.
That
Definitely.
seems
Haha,
funny.
that's a joke about his penis.
I tried. I made an effort.
Oh, I was explaining it for Ovos. I thought it was very good.
I understand.
Thank you.
That is clever. That's good. That is good. Ah, he suffers while we laugh.
I believe that the Nilfgaardian word for it is Schadenfreude. Yes.
Thought it fitting considering how he was very rude and intended to commit violence against us.
Now he'll be distracted.
For a good long while.
I do
Now,
feel bad for his wife.
Oh, I don't think it's contagious.
I hope not.
No, it's not. Because it's the hex version of it. It's not transmissible. But he has a -5 on seduction attempts against his wife. So, yeah.
And he was probably already rolling it like a -3, so yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't the most seductive person.
All right.
As you're discussing this hex and its ramification on the peasantry of Novigrad, you make your way to the eastern side of town, taking a detour to both go bring the armor to a blacksmith and also find Hattori, and then curving around through the docks to go back to the Nilfgaardian embassy. Getting two birds with one stone, basically.
The bathhouse wouldn't be here yet, would it?
I mean, yeah, it was built by that point.
Yes, but not run by you know who.
No.
No.
Yes.
He's still in. Yeah, is he already here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would be. Hmm.
Yes, the criminal underworld of Novigrad is...
Gonna go break his other leg.
I love
Probably
how
not.
you want to, like, fuck up NPCs that I've never met you.
That's why I said just kidding.
Who
But
are
he's a
you?
dick.
Crap!
He's a dick.
Yes, he is. There's a Gwent card of him that you can draw.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, and if you, it basically is the card that allows me, the DM, to be a dick. It literally is, I made the card, which is basically I can meta and foil your plan.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm forever amused by the fact that the option "excuse me, please" lets you break his leg. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going.
So, you make your way to the docks. The smell of salt water, fish, some fresh, some less so, assails your nose. You can hear the sound of merchants and hagglers, stevedores on the docks already unloading boats from their cargo holds. City workers are taking stock of inventory, helping people move things to warehouses and what have you. And you hear in the distance, not over the din of everything else, but a very clear sound of hammering steel on steel.
You're singing your song, Ovos. Sounds like money.
I need more. I don't
Money,
even want
money,
to-
correct? Not. We're not going there.
You know, you talk about this more than I do now.
No, I'm just confused by you anymore. I knew what you were. Never mind.
I care about the money more than anything else.
As it should be.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
Have you tried these dumplings? They're excellent.
No, but I've tried something else.
God bless it.
You brought it up this time.
You approach.
Well, the dwarf brought it up last time anyway. Sorry, I didn't say that. Nope.
You don't
Kelly
have.
said that. Kelly said that.
Yeah, Sisha doesn't have the empathy to crack puns or
Nope.
jokes. You make your way to this outdoors blacksmith. In fact, it's a little strange because the smithy is like part smithy, part restaurant. There's this terrace area with tables and stools and chairs. And that is connected to like this structure, which is, think about like a 2-story high building without the walls. You can see inside on there's one wall, I'm sorry. One wall upon which is showcased a lot of weapons and armors. On one side of that wall is a forge with various anvils, a furnace, everything that you need to smith. And then on the other side is a fairly large oven. Both are working at the moment, and between the smell of steel and blade oil, You can smell spiced pork cooking. It's like a weird mix of food and metal.
These are all of Sisha's favorite smells.
And in between the two of them, going back and forth between the oven and the forge, is this elf. Black hair tied in a short ponytail. His ears are very visible, a little detached from his skull. He is of average height, wearing a green tunic, the sleeves of which have been rolled up past his elbow, and red stitched up pants. He's over the tunic and the pants, he's wearing a leather apron. And is going from the oven to the forge as you approach, cooling a blade in a barrel of oil. His back is turned to you. He does not seem to notice you arriving. What do you do?
Hello, friends.
There you go.
Yeah, Ven just walks up to him, like, not like too close just in case he gets startled, and decides to turn around quickly while holding a hot blade. But she will approach.
He takes the blade out of the barrel and sets it down on the anvil. Wipes his brow, turns around, says, upon immediately seeing your ears, goes off in elder speech. A customer from the Old Lands. Welcome.
Why, yes, we are here for some smithy business, but I must say it is very comforting to meet someone who has some sense about them. Out here, at least.
Oh, you would find that not a lot of people in Novigrad have their sense about them, as you put it. But
Yes, I've
they will
noticed.
always remind me I am an outsider here, so...
Well, at least we're not. At least we're outsiders together here.
Apparently. And he looks, like, past your shoulder at Ovos carrying this humongous black full plate and Sisha and says,
Sisha has the look on her face. It's the closest you will ever see on her face to what love must be. And she is looking at the food and the weapons.
so impassible.
Just completely, but very fixated.
He says, are you here for business? And if so, which? And he motions to the oven and the forge.
Well, we came for one, but I suspect we will have use of both, given my company.
Yes. I want to melt this down.
He looks at you and, can you remind me, Ovos, were your ears mangled? Or not?
No.
I thought it was just the face.
But my face is kind of scarred and there are nicks in my ear.
Okay, but it's not like you're not missing the tip of it.
No,
We can't mistake you for a human, for example.
correct.
Okay, so he looks at you and would go off in elder speech as well. Huh. Discarding an old armor? What's wrong with it? You were about to say I stole it, weren't you?
Oh, my compatriots here were beset by
I killed a bad
marauding-
creature and then took their armor.
Did you say that in Elder Speech?
Yeah.
God bless it.
Yes,
You're
that is
scary.
the.
Because I can't remember if I
Shortened
speak
version.
Elder. If I don't remember if I speak Elder Speech.
You're
Witchers.
It would
Witchers
be-
know like a smattering of it. But
It would be under your intelligence skills.
Yeah. It's
I
a
just don't
skill.
remember. I don't remember if we went into it or not.
He says, I really With all due respect, I do not care
Yes!
where you got it.
Wait, I do
you should
speak.
care. It's very impressive.
I do speak Elder speech. So after he said I killed it, I would just say who killed it, and then go back to looking at the swords.
Great, wonderful. I would like to melt it down and make it into blades.
Making a blade takes a while, depending on what you want. I
What
would
about
love to
knives?
sit down and... Yes?
Are knives quicker?
Oh, yes, the blade is not as long. We're talking maybe a matter of a few days.
Or about 4 side quests.
That works for me. Perfect.
So you're coming, pointing to Ovos, you're coming here for the forge. What about
Yes.
you? Points to Ven.
Oh, I'm just coming for the company.
Well, my shift ends at 6. And you, who seems to be hypnotized by the display of weaponry behind me.
What?
Oh, anything I could do for you. And he switches to Nordling.
And she raises her eyebrow at him and speaks to him in Elder speech. And she would pull out her steel sword and say, "This has seen better days."
You want it
Do you have-
repaired, oiled, polished, or are you looking for a new one? I have.
And she's just looking over his shoulder. I enjoy the selection. I would like to look at it.
All right then, forge it is,
And then dumplings.
and then dumplings. I'll have a new batch ready in a few minutes. Show me what you have. He looks at Ovos and the plate. Going through like the pieces and everything. There's a lot of it that he can't really melt down because it's a different alloy. Like especially when you talk about like the bone motifs that are on it. So like
Yeah.
that's just basically either going to melt quicker or not melt at all. So
That makes
it's
sense.
not that big a deal. With the armor, the entirety of the armor, he would for sure be able to make 2 knives, like a pair of knives. The question is what length or type of knives you're interested in.
I'm throwing knives.
Okay, so you want something that is relatively short, balanced for throwing. In that case, let me just verify
wild.
something.
I want the wild hunt to come back, and I want to put their own armor inside their faces.
Yeah, he could make 4 throwing knives.
Let's do
Because
it.
it's not as big as a dagger or a poniard. It's made to be thrown. So, and it's one piece of steel. He would be able to make the 4 knives in 2 days for sure.
Done. How much does he want?
Nothing. If you give him the armor, he makes the knives for free with that.
I give him 50 crowns as the tip.
Oh. My.
You didn't ask where it came from.
It is not my
You
business.
didn't
to
care
ask.
where it came from. I like that.
I didn't introduce myself. He wipes his hands on his apron and extend a hand towards all 3 of you and says, Avar Hattori.
Ovos.
You're muted.
I am?
You were for a second, yeah. Well, if you said something after Ovos, we didn't hear it.
She just says, I am Ven.
And she would introduce herself as Sisha of Gwen Creasa, which I don't think Ven has heard her introduce herself as that before. Ovos probably didn't care. Avir would actually know what she said.
Sisha of Gwen Creasa?
Hmm.
Sisha is a Nilfgaardian name, right?
No, Sisha's not a Nilfgaardian
No,
name.
that's true.
Sisha's from the blue. Sisha's from where she's from. The Gwen Creasa is Elder Speech.
Mm.
I'll send it to you and remind you what it means.
Well, the thing is why don't you say it so that everyone, even in chat, could know what it is?
It means from nowhere. Gwen Creasa is basically of no place.
A wanderer. Would all three of you like to roll a reputation, please?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, the Sisha was the local dialect that
Oh, yeah, right.
she would have to explain that one.
Well, then.
Where is reputation?
If it's another 10, you have to roll again. That stops there.
Still, it's 31.
And of course, as per usual, I roll like shit.
Where is the reputation? I don't remember. Oh, there.
Under
it is.
background.
Okay.
Well, if you want to use 4 points of luck,
Yeah, why not? I actually realized I haven't used any luck since the first episode.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'll use 4 points of luck.
so
I'll
yeah.
use 3. I want to have a 20 as well.
Well, Ven has more than a 20. She has a 31 right now.
I don't care about that.
But you want to have a 20, that's fine.
Yeah.
So 16, 20, and too much. Tori looks at all three of you one by one, and you can see him mouth out your names. Again, and he's like, I am in very fine company. Some very important individuals.
Oh, really? I haven't heard of these two before.
You haven't heard of the Avenging Fire? The Avenging Fire of Rogovan?
Oh no, please say many good things about them. So that I can learn.
Sisha just narrows her eyes at Ven.
She... And he looks at you not,
Friend.
like, sure.
Friend. And she kind of looks over to, where the guards are patrolling with the temple emblems on their armor. Maybe not the best time.
Rumors has it that someone burnt down a temple to the eternal fire,
Oh, that must have been quite a feat.
and the priest within, because of some foul transgression on their part. The part of the priest, I mean.
Oh, well, it's for the best then, I suppose.
Yes. And who hasn't heard of the vampire hunter?
Sisha goes, You've been holding out.
Yes.
This tale comes from the deepest bowel of Nilfgaard. Well, I'm not sure, and he looks at Ovos, I'm not sure if all the rumors are to be believed. But apparently, a vampire was hunting down witchers. And a brave witcher put an end to them.
Wait, that was
In
a
one
long time
blow.
ago. Ovos, that...
I've lived a long time. And yes, it was one blow. It was delightful.
Sisha now looks very sad that she bragged about the Wild Hunt one-shot.
And who hasn't heard
of
Well, if everyone's heard of it, we don't need to go over it again.
Oh no, I think we should go over it again. I've not heard of it.
Oh, are you sure you want to hear about it? I do have details.
I think just. Yes. The notes by someone named Cliff would be good. Just the Cliff's
God, I
notes.
hate you.
eh, rumors.
As everybody under the age of 25 doesn't get that joke. Oh god.
Well,
They
it
don't-
all started one hot summer evening.
Is
back
this
in
going to be about
Dol
sex?
Lithana.
Is-
Yes.
Did you got your rep? Okay, I think that's
The-
enough.
Yes.
I don't need to hear anymore.
What Hattori would say is the title is a little crass, maybe vulgar. The Queen's Lair. That's how some of the bards put it. Apparently, and I always thought that it was nigh impossible because of our heritage. But there's apparently an elf somewhere in Lyria who became the secret concubine of nobility. Now, these are probably all rumors, and you are probably, the three of you, just people that resemble the people from the songs and the tales. But, and he waits for the guards to be gone. But if you are who you say you are, which I believe, I feel like I owe you a discount. You have done much in your lives, accomplished feats that, well, literally, that people make songs of. If you would so much as spread my name in the name of my store.
I'm Ven, and this is my
This is my favorite show
store
in Nilfgaard. I was about to do it too. I'm barely waiting for him to finish his sentence. Gabe's not speaking to any of us now.
Y'all are ridiculous. I'm just waiting for someone to die.
Would you like to?
No.
Well, we are melting an armor.
That's true. I don't know. Oz is probably in his head again. But he's thinking about, like, he's... Okay, so as soon as he said the fish thing, he's probably been thinking about the fish thing for, like, hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna come up again, too.
Mm-hmm.
Finland, Finland, Finland.
I don't know. I think that fish thing is just one big red herring.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Was it a traditional fish slapping song?
Yes. Yes, it was.
So,
Finland is the country where we dance.
So,
while this is happening, while he's going to gather up the
England.
full plate and everything, the dumplings are ready. And I mean, with the business that you are providing him, he will, of course, like give you like a taster's plate free of charge.
Sisha will wait until someone walks by and then look at them and say, in her axy voice, "You should eat here every day."
Make a spellcasting check.
Against peasants.
It's the will of a peasant again. Yeah, try to beat an 11.
Oh god, I'm on the wrong page. Scotty, get your nose out of my cinnamon toast crunch. Hold on. Where's spellcasting? There you are. Why is it not working? I'm clicking it. It is not working.
Basic roll?
Yeah, I'm clicking the arrow. The arrow is just in my way. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, the person that's walking by on the docks just stops Looks at you, looks at the shop. He says, "You're right, I should come eat here every day." And then
You should
keep
tell
going.
all your friends too.
Maybe I will.
Oh my gosh.
And they leave.
I am helping.
Yeah, very good job.
I don't know how ethical the use of mind control magic to bolster the sales of
If only I had empathy to think about that.
So,
It's really just, you know, me discovering advertising years before Mad Men.
yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to purchase or talk about with
Arrows.
them? I'm gonna ask you a weird question. What type of arrows?
Really, really good arrows.
Because he is an elven smith, ergo he can craft certain elven arrows. Where the hell are they? Oh, there we go.
Just give me the best ones.
He can make burrowing arrows.
So they like burrow into things' flesh.
Yeah. They're
That was-
basically a type of broadhead arrow that not only buries itself in the wound, but normally a broadhead arrow induces bleeding. Except if you take an action to remove the arrow, you stop the bleeding. Now, the burrower, you need first aid to just be able to remove the arrow from the wound.
And I have Cadfan's grasp. I want those.
Except he's gonna give you a discount because of your reputation and everything, so it'll come up to 30 crowns per arrow.
Make
I'll-
sure you really don't like that person.
I'll take 5.
Alright. If you want regular arrows, he has plenty in stock. And can sell you 10. Well, it's basically 1 crown per arrow. If you want the regular ones.
I'm pretty good on arrows.
Okay. And he looks at Sisha. Can I interest you in some of our swords then?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Because what she had was just a basic Witcher steel sword, so.
Yeah. Which is almost the equivalent of like a. I think the damage is like 4d6.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there are bigger swords. There are smaller swords. Are you interested in size, curvature?
Size does not matter. The shape I'm unsure of, but
Well, do you
it
prefer
needs to hurt things.
Oh, they all hurt. Believe me.
One hand only, please. Well, it can. I mean, I should be able to handle it with both hands, but also with just one. I don't even have the camera up, and I know Gabe is rolling his eyes at me.
I see nothing. You don't know what I'm doing.
He says I might have something for you. Are you... What's your fighting style? Do you like to stab? Do you like to slash? Do you prefer something more precise?
Slash and dodge. Because Sisha fights like Kelly plays.
So something good for slashing that would also perhaps get the job done while you're dodging away.
Mm-hmm. Says the blacksmith as he peruses the weapon guide.
Yep. I have one.
I know.
And he shows you a curved sword. It's of Sidarian make. Well, it's his make, but it's of Sidarian
Origin.
origin. It's a solid, simple blade with a sharp, curved edge. It's called a cord. It leaves some nasty wounds that are very hard to close.
Is the damage comparable?
So, damage-wise, it's 5d6.
Okay.
The
The 5d6 plus 4 still?
Well, what's your... Yeah, the +4, I think, would be because of your body or whatever. Yeah. It has a 25% chance on any attack to deal... inflict bleeding.
Is it still armor piercing?
It is not armor piercing.
Okay. All right. And how much is that?
Well, with the friend rebate, 550.
I can't find my money. Where's my money? Oh, there it is. Sisha is pondering because that's her entire bankroll. Let me eat some more dumplings. I'll get back to you.
It's going to be right here. And he would look at Ven and say, "Can I interest you in anything then?"
Oh, just the arrows.
All right.
For now, at least.
If you say so.
Do I look the type to be running about in armor or swinging swords?
No, but a sword makes for a fine gift.
I will consider this and perhaps make a purchase next time I come around.
Repeat customers. I like to hear that.
When he looks back at Sisha, she has like both her cheeks are full of dumplings. But she just goes and she pulls out her coin purse and literally hands the entire thing to him. Is it at least pretty? Tell me it's pretty. Did he make it pretty?
Yes.
Okay, because I know he makes good swords.
Well, yeah, he's an elven master smith. Like, he's not going to just
And
do
for
whatever.
future reference, Master Hattori, do you work in silver also?
Of course. Oh yeah. I knew he did.
Good to know. And she'll put. I assume it came with a new scabbard because the straight scabbard's not going to work. So.
In fact, it's not a scabbard. It's a frog.
Okay.
But yes.
She's showing her new sword off to Ova. She's very proud of it.
This is very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Then I have a new toy.
Very nice.
This is as excited as you would have ever seen her.
It's quite overwhelming, your enthusiasm.
I have never been happier in my life.
I can tell. You're practically glowing.
Yes. And she just sits there with her sword and she's like petting it.
I actually have something that I might want commissioned. and
I'm all
she
ears.
digs in her stuff, pulls out like notes with some diagrams on it that has an elven blade sketched out, and she shows it to him and says, "Could you make a replica of this? It does not need to contain the properties, just the appearance. It is for sentimental purposes."
And he takes it. I'm trying to remember. Yes, I have it here. Okay. Yeah, he looks at it and he's like, "This is normally a dwarven type of sword. I can replicate it, no problem. Do you want it for show or do you want it to be useful?"
Dwarven, it was elf from the side scene, the first side scene that we did. For my backstory.
Yeah, the sword that was planted. That's true, that was elven. Why
Yeah.
am I? Yeah. Scratch that. Yeah, so he's only going to ask if you want it to be, like, decorative, or...
I think the recipient would appreciate it if it had utility.
Okay. That's going to take me a bit of time to recreate. Give me about a week. And I can have your sword.
I will be back in a week then.
Good. You have to pay half of it in advance, though.
You failed to mention the cost.
I know. I'm searching it in the book as we speak. It... Alright, with the... So, guess... it's 15, 57... 715. That's the total cost. So you would need to give him, like,
715.
let's say 350 to start with. Give me 350.
Yeah, I'll give him that 350.
Cool. He transforms into the Loch Ness Monster and runs away. He takes the gold. He now has 2 enormous sacks of gold that he hides.
He has 2 enormous tracts of land.
Sacks of gold. Tracts of lands are for women. Sacks of gold
That's
are for men.
true. We keep our tracts of land.
And as you grow older, the sacks of gold begin to...
I don't want to know about that.
So that
Gabe is done with all of us.
I've been making notes about what's happening, and this is like delightful chaos.
Yes. If you are done with Hattori, I mean, he leaves the plate out with the like stacks of dumpling on it to be eaten at your leisure.
One question.
Hmm?
Have you noticed any unusual rat activity? Possibly any rodents of unusual size or intelligence?
Are you looking for someone specific?
There have been disturbances in the city.
Yes. A lot of us are aware.
We're looking to stop them.
Good on you.
It does not reflect well on my colleague and myself.
Yes. I've heard the hearsay. Apparently they caught a witcher.
It was not a witcher.
It was, as you say, hearsay.
Boasted.
And you think the rodents of Novigrad have something to do with it?
I think they can show us the way to the person who does.
I'll keep an eye out for rats. I can tell you that we do not lack rats here in the docks. Most of them just scurry about, hide in warehouses, down the sewer drain.
Who would we
just-
ask if we wanted to know more about what goes along underground here?
We're going to end up in the sewers of every town we go to.
I
Usually.
don't like it.
Yes, Ovos, but it's part of the job description.
Every level is a sewer level.
Hmm.
He says, if you want to know what happens in the underworld of Novigrad, you ask the King of Beggars.
Where do we find the King of Beggars?
That I do not know. I know he has eyes all around the city. Just look for the downtrodden, the forgotten. I don't know, there's like sound coming from somewhere.
Somewhere. Well, if we fail to accomplish our task on our own, we might have to go speak to some royalty. But until then, witchers have no need for kings.
One more thing, my friend. A mutual acquaintance from back home told me that you could be of help in regards to repairing an item that we have come across.
I know of quite a few people from back home. I've lived a long life. What item are you talking about?
I think Ven has the whistle, right?
Yeah.
She just takes it out and holds it to him.
He takes it, turns it around, looks at it in detail, and it takes like a few minutes of him just admiring the craftsmanship of this cracked whistle.
You are highly recommended by Vara.
Then that means this whistle is magical. Vara would not
Yeah.
ask me to repair a simple trinket. I can certainly do so. I'll do it free of charge. After all, three of you have brought me a lot of business in one day. Do you want it repaired before or after the sword?
My sword, or
Yes.
I bought
Is-
my sword outright, so
Is it
It's-
more urgent than the sword?
sadly, yes. Having it repaired would do good. It would ensure safety for quite a few people.
He looks at the crack and runs his thumb on it and says, Give me for the rest of the day.
Very well.
Come back at sundown. I should have it repaired by then.
Thank you very much.
And he sets the whistle on the counter behind him.
Now, I do believe we have some rats to flush out.
Indeed. I have an idea of where we can start.
What would they taste like?
The rats or the humans that call themselves rats.
The rats.
They probably taste like rat.
Hmm.
Have you never
not
had rat? I've had rat. It's not.
I have, but different rats probably taste different rats.
I mean, it's if you don't have ketchup, the rat just tastes disgusting. And so she will lead them to where she saw the rat going, which would be down behind the one noble person's house and the Nilfgaardian embassy. Ven, will you be okay to climb down some cliffs? You do not look as if cliff climbing is one of your general habits.
Vertical movement is not an issue for me.
Oh, yes, you can fly. Correct.
She's a bird.
He eats birds.
I won't eat you,
Good.
as long as I know it's you.
Could you put like a bright spot on one wing or something?
How many ravens do you see flying about?
Like, I mean, just really like this, like one purple one or something.
Can you not tell us apart?
If he's hungry, he might not be looking that hard.
Ovos makes probably the close to like a guilty face that he could.
Don't give me that look. I know you don't feel emotions.
I'm imitating. I thought I saw someone do it once. I'm parroting. See, get it? It's a bird thing. Yes.
That was very good. That was very good, Ovos.
I find that offensive.
Well, I will do my best to avoid eating you.
Thank you.
So are we climbing down to that like cave system behind the? I mean, I know that's metagaming, but still, is that where we're heading?
Well, the rats were heading in the direction
Yeah.
of the general direction of the Nilfgaardian embassy.
Mhm. So, Sisha then would like to climb down the cliff and see if there is any secret, hidden, whatever entrance behind the Nilfgaardian embassy, if possible.
As you approach this cliff, before you scale it down, make an awareness check.
Skill modifiers. 15.
You notice, as you approach the cliff, a rat running past you and into the garden of the embassy, like through a crack in the wall.
And she'll kind of punch Ovos in the arm.
Why?
Did you see that?
No?
Ben, did you see that?
Yes.
I think you're lying. A rat just went into the Nilfgaardian embassy.
Oh, would you like me to pursue it?
That's probably a dangerous and stupid idea.
Can you
I will
become
be
a
a
rat?
bird.
Can you become a rat?
Why would I ever become a disgusting rat?
Because
Because-
then you blend in.
You look just like all the other rats.
I don't know if you said something, Kika. I didn't pick up.
It was muted.
I don't turn into rats.
What
There's
about
a-
mice?
There's money.
Don't turn into rats.
I don't want to have to knock on the front door, Ovos. What time of day is it?
You woke up at the crack of dawn, walked to Atori's place, stayed there
Ate
probably
lunch.
for 2 hours. So let's say maybe like 9 in the morning.
Oh, it is very bright out here, and I think climbing the fence might not go well. Can I see if there's a back way around the back of the garden or something? Not as noticeable.
The entire estate is walled in with a low stone wall that is roughly, say, 6 feet high, covered in tiles. Like
Anyone around to see us?
not when you're on the side or the back of the estate.
Well, if we're in the back.
Like I said to Kayla last week, there are 2 guards at the entrance, like where the gate is. But nobody patrols the place necessarily, especially not during broad daylight like this.
I will just turn into a raven and fly up to the wall and perch on it.
The, like, fence wall?
Yeah,
Okay.
and take a look inside.
There's a garden in the backyard with a fountain, a little path of cobblestones amidst flowers. There's a statue of Emir Var Emrys, because of course there's one. Well, more like a bust on a pedestal of the Emperor. There are a few other statues, smaller in size, but that just dot the garden here and there. And two doors that leads into the estate.
Can I spot any rats?
Oh, that would be with an awareness check, yeah.
Hopefully I roll good. 15.
The rat has stopped itself at the foot of the wall, and it's lifting itself up on its hind legs and sniffing the air under a window.
Can I maybe fly over and land on one of the statues to try to get like a look into the window?
To get closer,
Yeah.
you fly off the wall onto the statue. While this is happening, I would like to know, Sisha Ovos, what are you doing?
Sisha would be keeping her eye out to make sure that no one is coming around and none of the guards are patrolling.
Ovos is probably, instead of watching, he's more so listening.
Mm-hmm.
Can you both make an awareness check?
Yes. $14 for me.
16.
You're waiting, the two of you, keeping an eye and an ear out, and you notice another rat coming in your direction. And unless you stop it or anything, it is going to slither into the crack at the foot of the base of the wall and go inside the garden as well.
Ovos,
Yes.
can you catch that rat?
Probably. Wait.
No,
I'm
not
killing it?
no, not killing, catching.
All right, then I'll just try to grab it.
Roll physique for not physique. That doesn't make sense. Brawl.
Brawl?
Yep.
All right. Like brawling.
Brawling. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Well, 'cause there's like the skills inside of it. So like a fast strike.
Yeah, that would be a fast strike, unless
Okay.
you want to take your time and deal more damage. Yeah, it's probably gonna ask for like modifiers. You don't have any.
Yep. As a 10.
10. Rat's going to try to dodge. Nope. So as the rat is squeezing into the wall, you just catch it by the tail and lift it up, and it's squeaking angrily. Inside the garden, Ven would notice through the window. The windows are like these thick, almost like stained glass.
Like leaded
window
glass.
panes. Yeah, leaded glass panes.
Mm-hmm.
Pane. But you can see inside like the shape of someone moving. And they they extend a hand out, like outside of frame of the window. And when they bring it back closer to them, you notice that they have something rectangular in shape in their hand, probably a book, because it fits in one hand. And then they just turn and leave. And that's when you see the door begin to open. The door to the garden beginning to open.
And I'm a bird, so I'm just gonna look.
Okay. A woman comes out. In her 40s, dressed in a black gown. Her hair is done up in a bun and like tied up with these like intricate little gold chains and what appears to be like a small tiara. She has a few rings on her fingers and walks with purpose, strides across the garden and sits on a small stone bench facing the fountain. And she opens the book and begins to read. The moment that the door is about to close, you see the rat trying to break for it and run through.
Interesting. I will let the rat go because I don't want to blow my cover. I'm going to get like a really good look at this woman, try to like memorize her face. I'm assuming I don't recognize her.
No, Shayna would recognize her because she interacted with her before.
Okay. So, after that, I will just fly back out to the rest of the group.
All right. Before we end tonight's episode, Ovos and Sisha, you have the rat in your hand, and you notice now that it's dangling in front of you, your medallion hums very slightly.
Oh, hell.
Same thing as it did with that kid in the cells.
Yep. Except, no, it's even fainter.
Mm.
I don't like that.
Ovos, I have a very bad feeling.
Yeah, so do I.
Ovos.
This just became a lot more work, didn't
I
it?
think they're trying to do it the other way around. And she would just have this just an actual shocked look on her face.
And I think that's where we're going to end tonight then.
Damn.
Reverse?
not great.
Oh gosh, this is like Dr. Moreau at this point. Ew.
Can Ven dissect this rat?
That's very not good.
That's super not good.
I mean,
It would explain the lifespan.
anything can happen.
Simon, you mad genius.
So that said, I hope you had fun tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, even though ominous and terrifying.
Nah.
Rat people. Okay.
We haven't used the trap tonight.
Good.
So it goes away and we never hear about it again.
So is Chaos Power.
Bugger.
God.
No, that was mine. That was a good one.
Yes. But we'll see because we had 2 more subs tonight. So that brings
Okay.
us back to 9 cards total.
I mean, that's great, but also no.
So we'll have some more next week. See what happens. But before we leave, let's go around the table. Tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet. What projects do you have going on? Let's do the same order as we did the intros. We will begin with Sisha.
Hi, I'm Kelly. You can follow me at the Opera Geek on Twitter. I was, as the name suggested, an opera singer before I took a pandemic to the knee, and now I am a geek that sits at home. Still sings opera, but just not on stage. You can obviously find me here on Tuesdays. You can find me on my channel Wednesday nights playing Elder Scrolls Online with Her Gloriousness Devon Rue, who is so nice to me. Insert small eye twitch here. And sometimes Simon. Simon joined us last week. And this week I started doing random Animal Crossing streams on my Twitch for lunch break to just like chill out and do something relaxing. So that you can find me twitch.tv/The Opera Geek. That's it.
Hi, I'm Kika. I am a tabletop role-playing player and indie game designer. You can find my first game, A Lonely Haunt, at kika.itch.io/a-lonely-haunt, which I will be dropping in the chat. And you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/kikavo. You can also find me here again on Thursday for Sisterhood of the Magical Blade, an anime magical girl role-playing game, and on Fridays over on the Onyx Path channel for Legend Lore, run by Jen Vaughn, and it's a very good time. We've had a lot of technical difficulties though, but we have a party of disaster teens getting isekai'd into a magical world where two of them turn into pixies, and it's gonna be fun. So stop by for that. And also on Tuesdays, I am now showing up on the For Fans by Fans Twitch page in the mornings at around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we do a blind read through of Homestuck and voice all the characters and stuff. So stop by for that if you are an internet garbage like me.
What time is it?
And it's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
On Tuesdays.
And Ovos.
Hi, I'm Gabe James Games, Twitch, Twitter, and pretty much anywhere else. You can find me here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays on the Encounter Roleplay channel at 3 Eastern Time, running a Haunted House Zweihander campaign. And you can find me on Sunday on the Gilding Light channel in the Magical Girl D&D campaign run by Lily Sparks, which has been a wild, fun experience. If you check out my Twitter, I have games that I'm working on there. I'm working on my Goblin Dating Sim. I'm probably going to be updating the demo for that in the next week. So lots of things and less sleep, and I need to sleep more. Oh, I miss sleeping as much as I used to.
And I am Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to all of you who subbed, who donated, who followed. Thank you to all of you watching on YouTube, the VOD. It's always greatly appreciated to know that we have fans on the other platform. You can find us back here on Thursday for Sisterhood of the Magical Blade, our third episode, where I will reprise my role as a very, very exasperated villain. And also on Friday for the second episode of the second season of Cyberpunk. The players are on a road trip that has started very, very well for them. And then on Saturday, you can find us crashing a gala on our Black Flag campaign, which is a rapscallion powered by the Apocalypse Pirate game. And I might have some other things in store. Yes, this Sunday, actually, over on Mixer, I will be playing in a Pathfinder 2nd edition campaign called The Show Must Go On, which is one of their newest adventure path, the Extinction Curse, I believe. So I will be retweeting everything because I don't remember the name of the channel. It'll also be my first time on Mixer. That said, let's go, and I saw that Tanya was online. So I think we should go.
Tanya
and
is
raid her.
streaming Vampire.
Yes, so let's go.
Because apparently
and raid her.
Metro was not fun for her to be playing at night.
Metro is a bit of a horror game, yeah.
It is, yeah.
So let's go and raid Tanya, and we will see you for Witcher next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.